Welcome, Greek U Nation, to episode number 532 of the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. I am your host, Mike Eilon, CEO of Greek University. I'm a speaker and an author. Our sixth book just came out last month. It's called I'm So Beautiful, It's Ridiculous, Unleashing and Promoting Strength, Self-Worth, and Real Sisterhood. So go and pick up that book on Amazon or Barnes & Noble today. We call these episodes the Fraternity Foodie Podcast because there is nothing like great food to bring college students together. Fun fact, we are big pet fans here at the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. I have my two Siberian cats here keeping me warm. Klondike and Coco, they rule our home. They've brought so much joy to our home, especially during COVID-19, when our family needed some laughter and companionship, when we couldn't see all of our friends and family. And that joy that we've experienced has really carried over ever since then. And it makes for a really fun household. There's never a dull moment, that is for sure. And today we have a dog fan on our show today, so let's be sure that we're going to show her some love too. Jean Alfieri was a human resource professional for over 30 years and is now a full-time author, speaker, and of course, a dog fan. She has coached mid-level and executive managers on the importance of mindset and positive thinking techniques. Welcome to the show, Jean.
Thank you, Michael. It is a pleasure to be here.
I am so excited that you are on the show. I know that you have such great information to share with our college students, so I'm super excited about it. And I always like to start talking about college because I think it really does kind of set up what happens for the rest of your life after that pivotal kind of moment. And you decided on Valparaiso University for your undergraduate experience. By the way, fantastic students on that campus. Shout out to the Sigma Pi fraternity brothers at Valpo. But I'm wondering, why did you decide on Valpo?
So it's funny, it wasn't my first choice. I wanted to go to Pepperdine University in California because they had Surfing 101 after all. And being from the Midwest, what school around there is going to give you surfing? Well, when the catalog came in the mailbox, which is how we applied back in the day, my parents saw that and went, oh, no, no. My brother had graduated from Valpo just a few years earlier, and they appreciated everything about it, and they were very right. The student population, which was about 2,000 at the time, there was never a class larger in the auditorium of 55 people. That was the largest class I ever attended. So you had personal attention. It was a great private Christian school, and it was great. And it had a great business school then too. So that was what I went for.
Makes total sense to me. Certainly, it's a lot colder than Pepperdine. And Pepperdine, I mean, is the most beautiful campus you will ever see in your lifetime.
Right?
Am I
Yes,
right? I mean, come
it
on.
is by far.
It's
Yes.
stunning. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful campuses in the world.
And in all
So
fairness, I don't know that I would have graduated from there. I mean, come on now. How do you really get serious about your studies when you've got the beach right outside your door?
listen, I totally get that. You know, I used to spend a lot of time at Long Beach out in California, and I said the same thing to the students. I said, "You guys are literally living on the beach, literally on the beach. If you fell over there, they had like this little patio. If you fell over the patio, you would land in the sand." And I said to them, guys, I don't get it. How do you go to class when you wake up every morning and you're looking at the ocean? Are you kidding
Right?
me? I would never go to school.
Exactly. Agreed.
I mean, come on, let's be honest. But anyway, it worked out for you, and Valpo is a tremendous school. Certainly, very bright students there, very
Yes.
successful. So it all worked out in the end. Now, you've been an HR director, a consultant, a writer, a blogger, a speaker, and you believe that college students today can actually ask for your awesome. How can
Yes.
they make the right impression with their dream company even before they go on the interview?
Yes. So the first thing to do is pay attention to the posting. It should be a very clear job description of what they're looking for. I can't tell you how many people I've met that just want to get their foot in the door. Don't do that. Apply to the position that is right for you, because it isn't going to happen in a month after you get into the business that we're either going to make an on-site position remote It doesn't work that way. So a lot of people think, oh, I can make this remote after I get in the door. No, not so much. And or they're going to be, here are my true skill sets. Can you create a job around that? No, we have the job that really needs to be filled and we need somebody dedicated to doing it. So that's the first thing. Also, be sure you know where you're going, because you're going to be invited on site, even if the first couple ones are remote, and you need to know how to get there and to get there on time. That's really critical. And it seems to be way overlooked that it's just almost commonplace anymore that people are late because they're not sure where they're going. Also, consider transferable skills. Don't not apply for something just because you haven't done that exact position before. Customer service skills, which are widely available, especially at the college level, bring you a wealth of experience that again will transfer. So just because you've answered phones doesn't mean that you couldn't work in the hotel industry or work in customer service in person. That skill is very valuable in knowing how to interact with people. And I got to tell you, it's becoming more rare as time goes on too. So consider those transferable skills.
That's really helpful. I like that a lot. Now, I know you have done a ton of interviews in your day. There's no question about that. So, what can these college students do during the interview in order to ensure they get the best outcome?
Yeah, so a couple of formalities. When I talked about knowing where you're going, truly make that drive in advance and see where it is that you're going to be. If for whatever reason you end up late, because I get it, there's weather, there's traffic you didn't anticipate, there's accidents, just apologize. It's odd to me that people will walk in and not say a word. It helps me understand if you say, "Hey, got caught behind a semi that was going 10 miles under the speed," just I'm not asking you to make an excuse. I'm just asking you to acknowledge that you were late and apologize for that. Also, be kind. Be kind to everybody. I, I, I believe this is very, I don't know, old school guidance, but that administrative assistant that you meet when you come in, I'm going to ask them how you treated them. I'm going to ask if you were kind, if you were polite, people don't think they have to have a conversation or just be even nice to the administrative assistant. Come on, be nice to everybody, because this is how you're going to be when you come in as an employee. And I want to know that you will fit in an environment that's kind and nice. Also, consider your questions for the interviewer. This is a two-way street. This isn't just us interviewing you. You should be interviewing that organization to see if this is going to be a good fit. So have those questions ready. Some of the questions that I really like to hear is, what are the top 3 deliverables? If I don't tell you what the top 3 deliverables are for that position in a year, why not ask? Also consider what the pain point is. If you read that posting, you're going to know what that organization is looking for. So how can you fill it? Even if they don't ask you, what can you do to make a difference? But I'll tell you, that's one of the last questions I ask universally for any position. We have a number of candidates for this position that we're considering. Why should we select you? And be ready with that answer. What is it that you bring that's unique? And at the college level, I can tell you what it is. It's a passion for what you do. It's a dedication to this industry. Tell me about how much you love what it is we do and why you can contribute to it.
That's such great insight. I love that answer. And, it was so helpful also to hear you actually ask the administrative assistant how they were treated by that candidate. I mean, talk about something that nobody ever thinks about. I mean, I think your message is really good. Just treat everybody with kindness, no matter who you meet at that company, because you just never know when you're going to run into that person or how that person is potentially going to influence whether or not you get the job. And the fact that you actually go out of your way to ask how that person was treated is just blows my mind. But really good insight, I think, for all of the college students who are listening. The other thing too is you coach so many executives on the importance of mindset as well as positive thinking techniques. Why do you think that mindset and positive thinking is so important?
Yeah. So as a manager, if you're not motivated, your team is not going to be motivated. And if you are working to the point of frustration, your team is going to be frustrated. And so it's really important, and you have to do it sincerely. acknowledge those milestones and those personal accomplishments, because that's a big deal. And you're really grooming, right, the next generation of managers. And so show them by demonstrating how it is that they can get a team together, that they can rally and they can get a good job done. Because it doesn't end, right? We accomplish this thing, hooray, now on to the next thing. But you really got to feel like you're making a contribution in order to make a difference.
Mm.
And so that's why mindset is very important, especially, well, at all levels and when you are managing people at any level for sure.
So, can you give us an example of one of your mindset techniques that we can actually put to use right now?
Absolutely. So I'm going to demonstrate this, Michael, and you play along with me here and consider if you have an example after I share mine.
Mhm.
So, what you want to do is think about something that you've struggled with and what the thought behind that is. For me, my hangup is time. I can never manage it. There's never enough of it. And when I get in that headspace of there's not enough time, my day just spirals. I get nothing accomplished. But that's not the truth. That's I'm coming from a place of trauma. But my truth is there's enough time. And a better truth is there's more than enough time to get done what I need to get done in a day. I consider job security. If I could get everything done today, you wouldn't need me tomorrow, but that's not the reality. So on an index card, and this is proven by anyone who you talk to that has talks about goals or resolutions, there is a connection between your mind and your hand. And so if you are in your own handwriting, writing something down, you are going to be more dedicated and more committed to it. So I write on 3 index cards, and you got to do it 3 times. Write down, there's more than enough time to get done what needs to get done today. And then you will read those index cards on a daily basis 3 times a day. So you have 3 index cards. You put them where you're going to see them. For me, first thing in the morning, it's on the bathroom mirror. So it's the first thing I see when I get up and I speak it. The next one goes in my purse so that I can pull it out wherever I am at lunch and I see it, read it, speak it. I get home, it's on the refrigerator. My third one's on the refrigerator because that's where I'm going. I see it, read it, speak it. And it's important to speak it because when you hear your voice say it, you're more apt to believe it. So that's what I recommend. What about you, Michael? Is there one? And what you're doing is you're shifting the negative to a positive, which sounds simple, but it's really not. Mine was, I don't have enough time. What I made of it is there is more than enough time.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I always struggle with work-life balance. That's my really big struggle. I want to work 24/7. A lot of entrepreneurs that I know are kind of the same way.
Yeah,
We live, breathe, and eat our businesses. And I'm talking like 7 days a week. It is really, really hard for me to shut that down and then remember, oh, by the way, you're doing all of this because of your family, because you have a spouse, because you have 2 kids. And I think I need to really kind of focus in on that and make sure that I'm having a healthy balance in both places because it wouldn't be good, right? If my kids didn't recognize me, that's not a good thing either,
right.
right?
It's true. It's true. And for you, balance might be different than
Yeah.
somebody else, right? We say 40 hours because that's what the norm is. For you, a balance might be 50. And
Yes.
that's okay. Just know, define for yourself what that balance is.
Yeah, I really do need to do a better. That's what I'm going to focus on this year is just defining on what is acceptable for me. And you're right, it might be closer to 50 or 55 hours for me, which other people might say I'm not doing that. But for me, like it's everything.
Yeah.
And so I really have to work on that. I think I'm going to do a better job on it just because I was doing so much last year. I'm trying to finish up my doctorate. I'm going to be defending on January 22nd, which is super exciting. But then that part of my education is going to be done. I can put that to the side, and I'm really going to be more intentional
Congratulations.
on having a better work-life balance and ensuring that my family and my friends are going to be rising up in terms of priority in
Right.
2025. So
Congratulations. That's
thank you.
huge.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been fun and I've enjoyed the process. It's been great. It feels really good to be able to give back to the industry and have some legacy that is going to just remain for many, many years to come. And I think it's really helpful. So I'm super excited to share my research and findings. So I'm excited about it. It's going to be good.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you about too is dogs, because I know you're a huge dog lover and your favorite breed of of dog, I love this, is rescued. I think that's fantastic. There are so many rescue pets that are just looking for homes, especially this time of the year. And so I think it's really important to get out there and rescue if you can. How did your superstar rescue pug, Zuggy, how did this dog come about? Tell me the story.
Yeah, so I adopted him when he was 5, and he lived to 14. And I'll tell you, the hard part about losing any animal is the memories for me,
Yeah.
right? They lived a good life, and now you don't want them to be forgotten. And so I started journaling, which we're also going to talk about.
Mm.
But I was journaling for over a year just to overcome the grief of this dog passing. And the stories were great. They were funny. They made me laugh. They made me cry. And I'm like, I think kids would enjoy these. They're just goofy little antics. This dog and I would have these adventures. And so Zuggy, the rescue pug, was created. And God willing, there will always be a pug in the house. My husband and I, we call them vintage puppies. We prefer senior dogs. We say if they aren't on arthritis medication, we're not interested in them. So right now we have three. We have an 18-year-old toothless Chihuahua, bless his heart. We've had him since he was 10. We've got a 14-year-old blind pug and a 10-year-old hospice pug. So we've got quite the pack here.
Oh man, you are doing God's work. That is fantastic. And I'm sure there's never a dull moment in your household
Never.
too. It just makes you laugh and feel good. So that is just absolutely fantastic. And kind of along the same lines of just doing good work in the community, how can the college students make a difference in their community through volunteer work? Because I think that's so critical. I think, you and I, we've gone to college and we've done that, and I think we're very privileged. Not everybody gets the opportunity to go to a school like a Valpo. And so, how do we give back and how do we make a difference in our community and make it better for other people?
Yeah, consider what it is you're really interested in. It is great to explore. When I was going through college, I tried a different summer job every year and I would volunteer in different places because I wanted to get an overall perspective of the place I lived. And it's interesting because there are different places within the United States that really need help in different areas. Consider as well, when I talk about those transferable skills, what you're gaining. You might not be earning an income, but boy, are you gaining a wealth of life experience and transferable skills. We at the Humane Society will often favor those applicants that have volunteered for us. And why not? Because they know the business. They understand what's so difficult about that job and that industry, and they know their way around. I mean, they just get it. So you are going to be doing yourself a benefit as well as you are in pouring back to the community when you are able to volunteer.
Really good stuff. I think that's just so critical. And I love how you're kind of marrying that volunteer experience with the work and career. And that's something that people look for. We want to make
Yeah.
sure that you share our values. And that's one real easy way for me to tell just by looking at your resume whether or not you share the values of the company that you're applying for. It's very, very simple. So thank you for sharing that. And let's get back to that journaling. I know that you're a big believer in that. You do that often. Why is journaling something that you recommend to other people?
Sure. I've journaled for the better part of my life. So I have found it very instrumental, not only in just tracking my path, right? We often just don't see how we got to where we are
Mm.
unless we occasionally look back and went, oh, yeah, I was there and that was my intention. But it is also proven to relieve anxiety and stress. It's good for PTSD. And so I've just recently started something new. It's called a prayer journal, but others call it like a gratitude journal.
Mm.
It's really documenting each day just something short and quick. Where are your God sightings? Where are you seeing your God show up? And it's pretty fun when you recognize that he's a part of every day. And what's even neater is if you don't do it in a regular notebook, you can do it on a wall calendar. And that's how quick it can be, right? You got a little box, fill in one thing that you're grateful for that day. And as that month fills up, to see all those good things happening really is encouraging. And as you go through the year to flip back and go, wow, look at all these things that you have to be grateful for, it really is very uplifting, especially on a bad day.
Mm.
Just, let your fingers do the walking and see what a great year it has been to that point.
I love that idea of putting a wall calendar up and just showing every day what you're grateful for, even if it's just, a couple of words. I mean, whatever that is,
Yeah,
That's a fantastic idea. Maybe that's something I need to adopt in 2025, just to have a more positive mindset. I think it's so easy to just get caught up in the negative things that are happening around us, whether it be politics or, wars in other countries. I mean, there's a million things that are going on, right? Natural
right.
disasters out in California right now. I mean, we
Yes.
could go on, and we would spend the entire interview talking about what's wrong with the world. But if we choose to change our focus and really focus on what we're grateful for every single day, I think that's going to make a big impact for our students in 2025. So, really, I want all the people listening to really think about that. And now is the perfect time to start implementing something like that. Talk about what you're grateful for every single day this year. And I'm telling you, it will change the way that you perceive the way that your life is going. So, that is just fantastic. Really good stuff.
Well, it's fun for couples
Yeah.
and families, of course, but couples, if you're getting together for dinner, what's your word? You can take 5 minutes with it, or it can be an entire dinner conversation about what's going well and what you're seeing happen, and what your counterpart is seeing happen as well.
I love it. Fantastic. Other than the journaling, is there anything else that our college student listeners can do in order to crush their personal barriers in 2025?
Crush it one at a time with your mind shifts, one at a time. Be patient. These mind shifts aren't going to happen overnight. You're not going to write it on 3 index cards and tomorrow it be all better.
Mm.
6 to 8 weeks. So you really have to be dedicated to this, but it's real simple, right? It's simple and it's easy and it takes very little time, but you have to be committed to it. Don't do more than one at a time. The one that I find, and this is across generations, so I'm not just speaking to college kids, I am speaking to my peers. I am not enough is just, it just sinks us every time. And you fill in the blank. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not rich enough. I'm not talented enough. It's a lot of crap, if I may say so. You turn that sentence around, and not only are you enough, but you're more than enough. And if you will put that on 3 index cards, put it up where you can see it, say it, believe it, you are more than enough. That is going to make a huge difference this year and
Great
going forward.
stuff. Really, really nice. I love it. Absolutely great. Now, I know you're out in Colorado Springs, and I do get out there every so often. I got a buddy who lives out there. He loves to go snowboarding and skiing all the time. So he's been calling me, asking me when I'm going to come out and visit him. So when I do come out there, and I love good food, that is my weakness, is really, really good food. And I know there's some out in Colorado Springs. So where should I go the next time I'm in town for a great meal?
Okay, so your friend may have some hoity-toity suggestions, and there are very nice hoity-toity places here.
Yes.
We regularly go to Atomic Cowboy. It is a bar that has tappers from local breweries, so it's all Colorado. And they've got two restaurants there that serve. One is Fat Sully's Pizza,
Uh-huh.
and the other one is the Denver Biscuit Company. So whether you want morning or evening food, you can get whatever you want at any time of day and a really good beer. So I recommend Atomic Cowboy.
All right, that sounds good to me. I'm gonna have some of that Fat Sully's pizza for sure. I miss a good pizza living here in Nashville. So if you've got it out in Colorado Springs, I am sure to give that a shot, and I'll let you know what I think.
And I'm from Chicago, so I
Yeah.
know good pizza. It's good pizza.
See, but then now we can get into the debate because I'm originally from New York. Okay, so to me, Chicago pizza, that's like a casserole. It's not even pizza.
Agreed with you. I can't go there. I love the thin crust, and Fat Sully's is a thin crust, and it's about the
See,
size of your head. The
yeah,
slice is ginormous.
yeah, that's
So
what I
yeah,
want. That's
yes,
what I
it's
want. I
good.
mean,
You'll love
listen,
it.
God bless Chicago. I do like the deep dish, but it's not pizza. I just
Agreed.
want to just call it a casserole in Chicago.
Yes,
That's
you
it. I
have to be
mean,
able to
that's
fold it. You got to fold it and eat it. Come on now.
yeah, it's got to be able to have a good fold. If you can't fold it, to me, that's not pizza. I mean, it's something
Agreed.
else and it can be
Right.
delicious too. I mean,
Yes.
no shade, but it's just not pizza. That's all.
Right.
I want to fold it and I want it to be the size of my head. That's
Yes.
what I'm looking for. Okay.
Exactly.
Really good stuff. All right. So, if our college student listeners, if they want to bring you and perhaps even your superstar rescued pugs to their campus for a speaking engagement, where should they go in order to connect with you?
They can find me at dogauthor.com, DOG author.com. I'm there. All my connections are there. Super easy.
Wow, super easy. Dogauthor.com. Everyone go and check out the site, learn more about all of the rescue pugs, learn more about Gene. This has been so much fun. So thank you so much for being with us here today.
My pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity.
You got it. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this conversation with Gene, I want you to like it and I want you to share it on social media. That's super important. And thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode of the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. Thanks so much. See you next time.